Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. Liam finds it difficult to respond to inquiries after Daphne breaks up Carter and Deacon's altercation. Steffi assures Liam that everything will be fine while they are in the hospital. "Steffi," he exclaims. "I'm right here with you," she says with a smile. Finn thanks a caller at his office and assures them that Steffi and Liam will be in contact shortly. He disconnects and asks, "Where are you, Steffi?" Ridge clarifies to Zend at Forrester that his skill was unrelated to cutting hope for the future. He executes his job well. He tells Daphne that they will also think of a perfume that she and Hope came up with. Hope was not the basis for Daphne's decision, and she does not consider her departure from the organization a loss. Zend doesn't agree. Hope had something to offer, and they made money off of it for years. He has some sympathy for her. "He's beginning to sound like Brooke," Ridge snarks. Hope was the only one penalized, but Zend isn't attempting to argue her case. Brooke said that, according to Ridge. According to Daphne, Carter gave it back after realizing his mistake, which is why he still has a spot there. And why Hope doesn't, Ridge adds. Daphne claims that she still doesn't believe she did anything wrong. If it were up to Hope, Ridge, his father, and Steffi, they wouldn't ever again be in command of Forrester. They concur that Carter has returned to his former self. Daphne claims that Hope misled him. Ridge now has his pal back, and she doesn't think he will ever disappear again. When Hope enters Brooke's home, her mother queries, "Where were you?" She adds, "With Dad." She wanted to speak with someone who continues to encourage her. Brooke agrees with her. She simply made a strong argument to Ridge, asking him to bring her and her line back. Hope acknowledges that things didn't work out and goes on to say that she doesn't need Carter to defend her because he didn't do it when it counted. Although it was obvious that he didn't mean any of it, she did believe him when he made those promises regarding their future. Brooke is aware of her pain, but Carter would have abandoned everything he had fought so hard to create if he had left at that precise moment. Hope is aware, but it goes beyond that. Why did she interrupt him and Daphne as they were kissing if he meant what he said? Hope remembers a lot of good times with Carter. Although she believed they were content, she is now doubting everything. Brooke maintains that he still has hope for her. Hope claims that by siding with the Forresters, he did. He tossed everything. For what purpose? For Ridge? For Daphne? Carter is attacked by a Deacon. Deacon informs Carter in the design office that he will not get away with disrespecting his daughter. Carter is sympathetic because he is Hope's father and wants to protect her. Deacon is furious that Hope supported him and that he took advantage of her. He's going to regret it if he doesn't already. Deacon's tirade claimed that Hope was by his side and that he had cheated on her by stabbing her in the back. "Carter, what sort of man are you?" Deacon Carter BNB. Carter is upset that Deacon just listened to Hope's version of events. Deacon refuses to believe that he deceived her. He returned the company after kissing another woman. It was Carter's responsibility. "How many times must my daughter's heart be broken?" rages Deacon. He continues to talk about Carter's deceit, manipulation, and adultery. Yells Carter, "Enough." Deacon was Hope's first man to leave her, according to the last time he checked. Deacon cuts his eye and chops him with karate. Carter gives him a scowl before launching a counterattack. Deacon Carter BNB. Daphne drags Carter and Deacon apart as she rushes into the design office. "Is this the nose?" she lips as she threatens to call security on Deacon. Carter informs Daphne that Hope's father is present to protect her honor. Daphne claims she has none, therefore there's no need. "Charming," snarks Deacon. Daphne Carter, Deacon, BNB. Drama in the hospital. When Lee arrives at Finn's office, he informs his mother that neither Liam nor Steffi have gotten back to him. She questions whether he believes something has occurred. To be honest, he has no idea. He explains that he left Kelly down the street with her friend. Although Lee is undoubtedly disappointed, she has no cause for insecurity. When he sees how much she loves her parents, Finn concurs. Finn informs Lee that Kelly is thrilled about the upcoming father-daughter dance. Liam will accompany her to it no matter what. Liam can tell Grace his entire name in the hospital room. Do you know why he's there? She says. Where's here? He asks. Steffi informs him that he is in the hospital. He had a severe head injury as a result of something. Liam can't explain to them how he suffered the head injury. Grace adds that he had a severe brain bleed and expresses concern that he might have a seizure. Steffi reassures him that they will overcome this together and that he is in excellent hands. Grace informs Liam that it's fortunate he arrived at that moment since he might not have made it otherwise. According to her, Steffi located him and dialed 911. Liam and Steffi both cry when Steffi says, "Steffi saved you, Liam." Grace Liam BNB. Finn tells his mother at his office that he doesn't understand Steffi's whereabouts or the reason behind her lack of response. Finley BNB. Liam chokes Steffi in his hospital room, saying, "You rescued me?" Grace affirms that he wouldn't have made it if it weren't for her. Steffi only needs him to recover, so he sniffs and says, "I guess I owe you one." He is necessary for Beth and Kelly. Because he believes Kelly saw him, he panics. She claims not to have. Where did she find me? He asks. Steffi clarifies that he was on the ground outside Bill's residence. Why she went there is irrelevant, what matters now is that he recovers. Do you remember anything? She asks. Have you fallen? Was it a mishap? Liam, what happened? As Liam tries to recall, Daphne breaks up Deacon and Carter's beatings. Today on Bold and the Beautiful, Finn wonders where Kelly's parents went, Zend feels sorry for Hope, and Hope tells Brooke that it's useless to talk to Ridge. Recap of Monday's B&B, Deacon assured Hope that Carter and the Forresters wouldn't get away with betraying her, and Liam woke up but might have brain damage. Steffi is by Liam's side when he wakes up in the hospital. Steffi informs him that he has suffered a severe brain injury, and Grace begins to quiz him on his memories. His forehead furrows. Grace advises Liam to maintain his composure in order to prevent a seizure because he is unable to recall anything. He is reassured by Steffi that they can overcome this together. He's fortunate to have arrived at that time, Grace informs him. He would not have survived any longer. He was saved by Steffi. Steffi sobs as she tells him how much the children depend on him. When she discovered him outside of Bill's, she assumed he was dead. Do you remember anything that happened? She asks. Was it a mishap? In his office, Finn is on the phone, wondering what happened to Liam and Steffi. When Lee enters, her son tells her that he hasn't heard from her parents and that he and Kelbell were at the beach. He dropped her off to a friend's place. Finn is certain that nothing will prevent Liam from participating in the father-daughter dance, which they discuss. Ridge tells Zend in the Forrester office that he has a lot of work ahead of him and that cutting HFTF had nothing to do with him. He informs Daphne that the same holds true for her. It was no loss for the company to lose Hope, she continues. Though he believes Hope had something to offer and they made money off of it for years, Zend is happy that the company is back in their control. Ridge claims that he is beginning to sound like Brooke and that he feels a little bit for her. Zend notes that the only person punished was Hope. Hope continues to deny any wrongdoing, as Daphne and Ridge point out. They talk about how Carter got lost but is now back on track. Daphne maintains that Hope was the only one who tricked him. She doesn't think he'll get lost once more. Carter is approached by Deacon in the design office. He informs him that he would not get away with disrespecting Hope because doing so was disrespectful to him. He's going to regret using his daughter, Sharp warns him. He accuses him of cheating on her and stabbing her in the back. Carter has fared worse than the previous men in Hope's life, according to Deacon. Since Deacon was the first man to betray and desert Hope, Carter yells enough and accuses him of being angry with himself. He is punched in the face and kicked in the leg by Deacon. Carter attacks after witnessing the blood streaming down the face. Threatening to contact security, Daphne bursts in and breaks them up. Carter explains that he is Hope's father, but Daphne responds that he cannot protect Hope's honor because she doesn't have any. Hope tells her mother that she was with Deacon when she gets back to Brooks. He continues to back her. Brooke claims that she agrees with her and begged Ridge to return her line. Hope may have explained to her the futility of it. Carter doesn't need to defend her either. When it counted, he didn't both. Although she loved him and trusted him, it was obvious that he didn't mean what he said. Brooke is aware of her pain, but he would have lost everything if Carter had left with her. Hope claims that she was the only woman he loved and that he claimed to love her. However, she interrupted him while he was kissing Daphne. Hope thought they were on the same page and has pleasant recollections of Carter. She is doubting everything in light of everything that has transpired. He cares and hasn't given up, her mother tells her. Hope maintains that when he joined the Forresters and threw away everything they owned, he gave up. Over B&B, Brooke hopes to talk to Carter. The royal rumble of Deacon and Carter. Carter was just as tough as Deacon. What took place on The Bold and the Beautiful today? Ridge was in the office praising the excellent job of Daphne Rose and Zend. Hope was mentioned by Zend as the sole victim of punishment. Ridge and Daphne Rose were reminded that it all came down to responsibility. While Carter and Brooke acknowledged their mistakes, Hope continued to criticize them and play the victim rather than the antagonist. She might have had a better outcome if she had accepted responsibility. But what's done and done for the time being? Hope's line is on the shelf and she is no longer allowed in the premises. Meanwhile, tensions between Deacon and Carter grew across the hall. Carter attempted to protect himself while Deacon hurled taunts and charges. Deacon grew increasingly irate as they conversed. Things quickly got out of control and people's tempers flared. Deacon became so angry that he threw his hands in the air. Carter's observation that Deacon was the first man to let Hope down was all that was required. Then Deacon started punching and kicking. As both guys launched their attacks, the design room was transformed into a royal rumble. Fortunately, Daphne Rose stopped them before too much blood was extracted. Brooke was at home at the Logan estate, whining about Hope, just before she entered and began to ignore her. Hope was able to talk about her feelings for Carter and the betrayal thanks to Brooke. They seemed content to her. Carter seemed to be the ideal match for her. But he told her everything she needed to know by picking the Forresters over her. Brooke pointed out, not so tactfully, that Hope was expecting Carter to sacrifice his entire life for her, and it was unfair. Liam is still in the woods. Steffi remained by Liam's side at the hospital, keeping everything in place, by herself. In order to gauge Liam's mental state, Grace asked him a number of questions. He didn't know where he was or how he got there, but he did know how. Steffi calmly informed him that he had suffered a severe brain injury. Liam had questions, of course, chief among them being why Steffi was present. Grace clarified that Steffi had discovered him and that it was fortunate that she had done so since Liam would not be here at this moment if she hadn't. Finn was at the medical facility. Finn was concerned that Liam and Steffi were radio silent when they entered. They're where? They weren't known for being silent, and they weren't known for failing to attend Kelly's event. He began to fear that something was seriously amiss. He was obviously absolutely correct about that. Does Liam awaken to an odd new storyline? When Liam Spencer awakens from his brain bleed on the CBS soap opera Bold and the Beautiful, it's the ideal chance to send him on a wild adventure. B&B promises a thrilling plot for Liam's comeback. They then make a hole in his head to release pressure on his brain, and he wakes up. However, Dr. Grace Buckingham is unable to guarantee a full recovery. What may this signify for the Spencer son, then? Does Liam Spencer lack a clue in Bold and the Beautiful? A resolute Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, awakens Liam Spencer from his unconscious state this week on Bold and the Beautiful. However, simply being awake does not mean that he has returned to normal. Liam Spencer, Bold and the Beautiful. Once he begins to speak, a few things may alter. Alternatively, as seen in Monday's program, we discover whether he is able to speak after his eyes are open for more than a few blinks. Thus, Liam Spencer may be suffering from a classic instance of amnesia. On Bold and Beautiful, he can wake up unsure of who he is and unable to identify the people who would soon be around him. However, he seemed to know Steffi since he squeezed her hand. He could be a little off on the date, but perhaps he recalls. April 7th to 18th. Bold and the Beautiful 2-week spoilers, Ridge reamed, Bill frantic, and Liam's brain broken. B&B, Liam pretends to be 10 years out of date. Liam might become outdated as a result of Bold and the Beautiful. He might awaken believing Steffi is still his spouse. Then, in order to prevent upsetting his memory and causing him to regress, the doctor may advise that you accompany him. Playing along with him might be what the doctor orders because this is B&B and not the real world. That would be intriguing, but it wouldn't lead to a lot of tension between Steffi and her husband. As a medical professional, Finn would follow the advice of his colleagues. However, fans of Bold and the Beautiful are already arguing over Steffi's response to Liam's hospitalization. While they examined him, she remained at his side. Then, after he flatlined, her coaxing appeared to revive him. In addition, she waited while they operated on him. To relieve the pressure on his brain, the doctors drilled a hole in his head, and she waited. However, Grace informs Steffi that his health is still critical. Fans find it strange that she waited a few hours without calling anyone to let them know what had transpired. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, possible reboot of the relationship? Liam Spencer gripped Steffi's hand as she spoke to him, giving fans of Bold and the Beautiful a clue that he knows who she is. Fans assumed that Steffi would be the one to force him to open his eyes because she is the love of his life. Steffi was already credited by Grace Buckingham with saving his life. He would have perished if she hadn't discovered him and gotten him medical attention. When the Forrester daughter discovered Liam Spencer on the ground, she was on her way to meet Bill Spencer. She came to attack Bill for releasing Luna Nozawa. However, the publishing tycoon wasn't at home. Bold and the Beautiful, Liam's hope returns, but he still has feelings for Steffi? #Beautiful and Bold. When Grace asked Steffi what had happened again in the hospital room, another clue was revealed. The distressed daughter of Forrester claimed not to know. According to Steffi, she discovered him unconscious on Bill's walkway. Steffi then speculates that he might have struck his head during the fall. Given that his skull had 2 points of impact, Grace appeared to believe there was more to it. Then they let it fall. However, a fall would probably leave one, but he may still be struck by an opponent a few times. However, they are unaware that Liam has probably had 2 points of impact because he collapsed twice. And Liam's journey might take a different turn if he forgets this. They might therefore make this into a police case on Bold and the Beautiful if Liam has no recollection of his breakdown. However, since this is B&B, he could always wake up, stay in the hospital for a day or two more, and then return home without any problems. You never know. To get another chance at Forrester Creations, Hope says these 6 startling words. According to teasers for the Bold and the Beautiful, Hope Logan might utter 6 startling things in order to get another opportunity at Forrester Creations. At last, will Hope swallow her pride and deliver the message the Forresters need to hear? It appears that Hope will return to work in Forrester Country in the future, according on some leaked photos taken behind the scenes at B&B. Steffi Forrester has insisted up to this point that she doesn't trust Hope enough to collaborate with her. Because Hope is unable to acknowledge that what she did was wrong, Ridge Forrester also does not want her to work for the company. But in the upcoming weeks, Hope will reflect on her life and perhaps come away with a fresh viewpoint. Hope will at least be reminded of how fleeting life is and how important it is to cherish each moment. Hope should learn a valuable lesson from Liam Spencer's experience. Hope might end up praising her opponent for saving their daughter's father because Steffi protected Liam from a terrible fate. Because of Liam and Steffi's ongoing relationship, Hope may eventually feel a little envious, but she will undoubtedly be happy that Steffi supported him when she did. There might be some common ground between Steffi and Hope as a result. Once he's sufficiently recovered, Liam may encourage them to resolve their differences, which might result in Hope expressing regret and Steffi becoming more understanding. In any event, it sounds like Hope for the future might be brought back, or as a compromise, Steffi might assign Hope a new project to work on. In any case, it appears that Hope will return to her job at Forrester Creations, but she will have to utter the 6 startling words that we first suggested. I apologize and I was mistaken. After all the turmoil surrounding the takeover with Carter Walton, Hope might be able to persuade Steffi and Ridge that she still has a place at the company if she can make that remark and mean it. Hope can foretell that she will be a team player once more and compromise a little to regain her position. Stay tuned for updates on any significant news that may be coming for Hope, as spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful indicate that more changes are in the works at Forrester Creations. When Steffi's dreams come true, the Deacon throws himself into it. Spoilers for Tuesday, April 8, 2025's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful hint at a big day for Liam and a crazy day for Deacon and Carter. Liam wakes up. Steffi Forrester Finnegan is at Liam Spencer's side when he opens his eyes after almost passing out in the emergency room. He doesn't know what happened to him, and neither does Steffi. She explains that she didn't know how he got there or why his head was bleeding when she saw him asleep on the ground outside of Bill Spencer's house. Is Liam's memory of the altercation with his father clear, or is it hazy? Knowing that Bill's stupidity with Luna Nozawa caused this would infuriate Steffi. Hasn't Luna hurt Steffi's loved ones enough already? Now, she could have done nothing but endanger Liam's life. Steffi has been by Liam's side the whole time he's been in the hospital, which surprises him. After feeling so alone for the past few years, Steffi has returned to his life and continues to show him how much she cares. The Deacon loses it. When they don't talk for a long time, Deacon Sharp becomes extremely worried about Hope Logan. However, he believes that Carter Walton harmed his daughter, therefore it's not pleasant that Carter has now answered to Hope's father. Carter makes an effort to justify himself and his feelings for Hope, but Deacon doesn't believe him and continues to attack Carter. Deacon is set off in the worst possible way by something. The last thing anyone expects is that Carter will fight back when Deacon uses his martial arts expertise against him. It is somewhat surprising to see Carter take on Deacon because he is often a submissive man. Which man will prevail in this struggle in the design office? With Hope solidly on the sharp side of things, it appears that Forrester Creations is starting over, at least for the time being. Tensions at Forrester Creations increased as Zend Forrester approached Ridge Forrester on Hope Logan's recent termination on The Bold and the Beautiful. Given that Carter Walton was also involved in the controversy, Zend questioned if it was just to blame Hope alone for the company's recent problems. He argued that both Hope and Carter ought to be punished or given a second opportunity at atonement because it is inconsistent to punish Hope while leaving Carter unharmed. But Ridge brushed Zend's worries aside, suggesting that he was echoing Brooke Logan's views, and he stuck to his guns about firing Hope. Famous people's unclean laundry. Deacon Sharp, meantime, decided to confront Carter Walton about his relationship with Hope. Deacon charged that Carter had betrayed Hope's confidence and upset her. Reminding Deacon of his own previous wrongdoings and the suffering he had caused Hope, Carter defended himself by arguing that Deacon was not qualified to pass judgment. The argument swiftly turned violent, with Deacon throwing a punch that sparked a quick but fierce fight between the two guys. Daphne finally broke up the altercation, stepping in to save more bloodshed. These incidents have highlighted the characters' continuous battles for dominance, respect, and atonement while further complicating the already complex relationships within the Forrester and Logan families.